Money habits will make or break you.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
We're excited that for 30 years or over 30 years, we've been journeying alongside you, building wealth and making great real estate choices and investments, and then also making the most out of life itself, even strengthening, healing, and flourishing a relationship, and getting a handle on the ever taboo subject of money.
You talk about flourishing relationships. Money is one of the, money, sex, but money is one of the key problems that many couples struggle with.
Absolutely.
It can unflourish a relationship super fast.
Make it or break it, really.
It will.
And it's because of the mindsets we come in with, the habits we come in with,
and the myths we bought into.
And generally they don't line up with who you're now living with.
You know, if I knew how much we had to have value alignment around money before I got married, totally different story. Because
well, us too. You say it like it's a surprise.
Yeah, but our relationship has a fairy tale ending. They lived happily ever after and after and after. But we don't talk about the 9 years of pain to get there.
And a lot of it was around money. And there's still moments of pain after that. So in this episode, what you're going to learn is that habits will make or break you, and how can you reset some of those habits that have gotten in your way so they can stop getting in your way, and that you can set up habits to actually serve you rather than hinder you.
Yeah. So, I mean, we habitually spend. Sometimes I spend without thinking about spending. You know, that loonie, that toonie, that bag of chips, that whatever, that coffee. I don't drink coffee, but that tea or that hot chocolate, that donut or croissant or whatever it is, right? It's spent mindlessly because it's a habit to not really track my $5 or my $10 or whatever, because loonies and toonies was the biggest downfall for a lot of people because it's just coins.
yeah, and people discard it. And that's I think that's why the government did it. Let's spin that economy, give them loonies and toonies. They'll spend them like they're 10 cents.
Like it's the Looney and Toonie show.
And there's something you've said that really inspired me to see habits a little bit differently, Suzanne. And that is habits. You want to choose your habits around money before you have a ton of money.
Absolutely.
Expand on that.
Absolutely. You know, oftentimes we think that it's when I get money, I'm gonna start saving. I'm gonna start like tracking my money. However, those habits that you're not doing are what are standing in the way of you getting money. So what I learned is that the habits have to be in place before the money comes.
Because otherwise I don't do good with the money when it comes.
And most people think, well, when I have money, I'll start to donate. When I have money, I'll start to tithe. When I have money, I'll start to save. Well, if you're not in the habit of it, you won't do it. And think of all the people who had the small paycheck and they said, when I get a bigger paycheck, I'm going to start saving. And then they get the bigger paycheck and they're spending because the habit of spending expands. And then they go, well, when I get another raise, I'll start saving. But they're not in the habit of it. So the time to start is when you have no money.
So much easier.
Oh my goodness.
Right? And for us, we didn't do that. We almost lost everything a few times. We consolidated and consolidated. I say 4, Ken says 3. It was just a lot of times. And
I put horrible things out of my memory.
I know, which is awesome. I love the Pollyanna perspective. It's good. And yet when we would consolidate, all it did was give temporary relief. And once the pain was gone, we went back to our good old habits. And so the next time we'd go to consolidate, we were worse off than we were the time before.
Absolutely, because the habit never didn't change. You just put a temporary Band-Aid on something that was on
right.
And then it's almost like the habit multiplied.
Now, Suzanne, you got a book in front of you called The Secret of the Millionaire Mind, or Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Great book. I
Oh,
bought
yeah.
a case of them and gave them to all kinds of people.
Me and you
read them.
both.
You and me,
Oh.
both, three
This
of us.
one has a CD in it. I don't think mine had a CD. Wow.
I'm special, Ken.
And one of the things I learned in here was the jars. And it was about putting a saving jar, a giving jar, a charity jar, a
Fun jar.
fun jar, and
favorite
different
jar.
things like that. And that really helped me. And it helped my kids because we set up jars for our children.
Yeah.
And then they grew in the habit of putting those habits in place before they started making a lot of money. That a certain amount is going to go into
Yeah.
savings.
Tithing.
And one of the mindset changes that I needed to do, because when I was brought up, a savings account was so that you could spend it. So if I got a savings account, then I would buy a bike, or I would buy a car, or I'd buy something that I wanted, a big screen TV or whatever, from my savings. But I was never taught to have a wealth building account.
Right. And that was the same thing for me. So what reading this book did for me was it established a wealth building account, or my nest egg account, never touch it. My long-term savings account, which was for big things. But the account that you and I confuse for savings, or often confuse for savings, is what they call the play account. And the play account is the money that you get to spend on whatever floats your boat. and the part of it is to move us from a scarcity mindset to abundance mindset, to reset our thermostat, he says. So I know for myself, when I first started that account, it was, I think I had $10 in it because I was starting over, right? So I had $10. Easy to go below $10. I could do that in a, I think it was $2 actually when I started, go buy an ice cream. Woo!
God.
Right? When I started earning some significant money, I'll never forget, I had all this money and you're supposed to go spend it once a month. And so I had some significant money to spend, and I went shopping, and I went on a major shopping spree, like a few $1,000s. I got home and I had like pure anxiety because I'm a saver and my thought of spending money for fun was little. But what he said was 10% of your income you get to spend. Well, it was 10% of my income at that time. And so when I went and spent it, that was my conditioning, my mindset, my habits at play. And that was what I had to work on in order to get to my next level of earnings, my next level of investing, my next level of everything else.
Talk to me a bit about that, because that's a abundance mindset, spending a certain percentage, and it's important to be able to expand. You said your thermostat, your thought around how much can I earn? How do I earn?
Because the reality is you and I will never out-earn our identity. We will never outgrow we will never outperform our identity. So if I have a perception of myself, I have a mindset of who I am and what people who look like me do, until I shift that identity or expand it, even if I want something bigger, I may get it and lose it because my identity, the way I see myself in the world, hasn't changed. So,
Wow, that's powerful.
so
And we see that with lottery winners all the time.
all the time.
That's the one that comes to mind
Right,
immediately because it's a big chunk, and
because
you think,
they haven't grown, they haven't done the work to grow into that new identity.
yeah,
Yeah, so how do you change these things?
one
by
yeah, one, and then one, and then one, and doing it in community makes it easier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bringing it out into the light, talking about it, talking with others. It's not taboo. Actually, the Bible has it more than any other subject, talks about money.
So we're grateful to be your partners on the journey of wealth and wisdom.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.